July 1st, 2025. A new blip appears on our screens. Astronomers point their telescopes skyward and see something extraordinary. A massive object hurtling into our solar system at a blistering 130,000 miles per hour. But then the data starts to come in, and everything changes. Are you ready to join me on a journey of discovery as we explore the mysteries of the universe together? That one number confirms it. This object is not from here. It isn't bound by our sun's gravity. It's a visitor from the depths of interstellar space. And so it gets its name, 3I Atlas, the third confirmed interstellar object ever detected by humanity. But what makes Atlas so strange isn't just its path, it's what happens next. Astronomers expect silence. At this distance, more than 6 times farther from the sun than Earth is, comets are supposed to be frozen solid, their icy surfaces locked down until they drift much closer to the solar warmth. Yet this object defies all the rules. It erupts. Great plumes of gas and dust burst from its surface, glowing faintly against the backdrop of distant stars. How could this be possible? How could a comet awaken so far from the heat of the sun? What kind of object were we even looking at? And perhaps the most unsettling question of all, was this really a comet? This discovery kicks off a firestorm of questions, frantic calculations, and sleepless nights for scientists around the globe. Telescopes everywhere turn their gaze toward Atlas. Its core, some estimate, could be up to 15 kilometers across, a true giant compared to previous interstellar visitors. Remember Oumuamua? That was a slender fragment, tumbling end over end. Remember Borisov? A comet, yes, but a modest one. Atlas, on the other hand, is a heavyweight, a traveler whose sheer size alone demands our attention. It's a body large enough to carry an entire landscape on its surface, wrapped in a halo of dust stretching for tens of thousands of kilometers. A visitor that dwarfs its predecessors in every way. But then comes the revelation that upends everything. The James Webb Space Telescope, the most powerful eye humanity has ever pointed toward the heavens, gathers its data. And what it finds shakes the very foundation of cometary science. The cloud of gas surrounding Atlas, its coma, isn't dominated by water vapor like nearly every comet in our solar system. Instead, it's almost entirely carbon dioxide, 90% CO₂, barely 10% water. The chemistry is completely backward. The rules are broken. The textbooks suddenly feel very, very old. And just like that, a puzzle is born. How could a comet carry almost no water, yet erupt with such ferocity, so far from the sun? What kind of star system could give birth to such a body? Pause for a moment and just imagine. Somewhere far beyond our own sun, maybe in the thick disk of the galaxy, a world formed under different rules. A world where the most common ice isn't water, but carbon dioxide. A world that's colder, stranger and poorer in oxygen than our own. A world whose chemistry was written in an alien language. Atlas might just be a frozen time capsule from that place, carrying the secrets of another star system within it. And yet, as extraordinary as that natural explanation is, not everyone is convinced. Some ask, if Atlas is natural, why does it behave unlike any comet we have ever seen? Why does its coma flare so early? Why is its orbit so strange? Why does its chemistry seem so perfectly inverted? Avi Loeb, the astrophysicist famous for pushing boundaries, suggests we shouldn't rule out more extraordinary possibilities. Could this object, he asks, be something more than a comet? Could it be a probe, a disguised traveler with his jets of carbon dioxide masking an artificial origin? Of course, most scientists reject that kind of speculation. They caution us to stay grounded, to study the data and let the numbers speak for themselves. But the anomaly refuses to go away. Every new observation just deepens the mystery. Carbon dioxide where water should be. Activity where silence should reign. An orbit so rare it slices through our solar system at a bizarre angle. If Atlas is natural, it's unlike anything we've ever catalogued. And if it's not natural, well, the implications are staggering. But let's step back. What even is a comet? Here in our solar system, they're the icy leftovers from when the planets formed. When they fall inward, sunlight warms them, and they erupt into those beautiful tails we see in the sky. We know their chemistry, their rhythms, their cycles, and yet Atlas refuses to play by our rules. Why? Could its structure be porous, riddled with hidden chambers filled with CO₂ ice, just waiting to burst free at the slightest touch of sunlight? Did its origins in a distant star system imprint it with a chemical fingerprint that is completely alien to ours? Consider this. More than 20% of Atlas' vast surface appears to be actively venting gas. Most comets, even at their peak, only manage a few percent. Imagine standing on a world like that, watching fissures split open beneath your feet as jets of gas roar into space, each eruption carving a fresh scar into the surface of a cosmic wanderer older than human history. It's a vision that's both terrifying and awe-inspiring. And then there's the question of scale. A body this large should be slow to wake up. Its sheer mass should keep it dormant until it gets much closer to the sun. Yet Atlas is awake early, violently and insistently. This contradiction is forcing astronomers to rethink their models, to admit that maybe we know far less about comets than we thought. Maybe our rules are just local guidelines, written for our corner of the solar system, not for the cosmos at large. So what do we do with an anomaly like this? Do we dismiss it as a weird outlier and awkwardly cram it into our existing models? Or do we treat it as a signal, a reminder that the universe is stranger, more diverse and more unpredictable than we can possibly imagine? That choice isn't just scientific, it's philosophical. Because to confront Atlas is to confront the limits of our own understanding. As October 29, 2025 approaches, the stakes get higher. On that date, Atlas will reach its closest point to the sun. If water suddenly erupts then, if the comet starts behaving more like its local cousins, the mystery might fade. The textbooks might breathe a sigh of relief. But if water remains scarce, if carbon dioxide continues to dominate, if the anomaly refuses to shrink, then the case for something new, something truly strange, will only grow stronger. So here we are, waiting, watching, and calculating. Every telescope on Earth, every instrument in orbit, will soon be trained on this mysterious visitor. For scientists, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. For the rest of us, it's a story that inspires both wonder and humility. How many other travelers like Atlas pass through our skies unseen? How many riddles slip by unnoticed, too faint for our instruments, too brief for our eyes? And most importantly, what do they tell us about our place in the universe? Perhaps Atlas is nothing more than a frozen fragment from a distant star, carrying a chemistry that challenges our models, but nothing more. Perhaps it's exactly what it appears to be. A comet, strange, but natural. Or perhaps, just perhaps, it's a messenger, a sign that the universe still holds secrets, vast enough to make us question everything we think we know. As Aristotle said, it's the mark of an educated mind to entertain a thought without accepting it. And so we entertain these thoughts. We imagine the possibilities. We hold them in our minds without claiming them as truth. Because in the end, science isn't about certainty. It's about curiosity. It's about daring to ask the big questions, even when the answers are far beyond our reach. 3I Atlas, the third interstellar visitor, now races through our solar system. It carries with it the chemistry of another star, the history of another world, the mystery of another time. Whether it's a comet, a probe, or something else entirely, it forces us all to look up at the night sky. And remember, the universe is not only vast, it is far stranger than we can yet comprehend. As October approaches, the countdown begins. The world waits, the telescopes watch, and the mystery deepens. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the unknown. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next exploration. See you in the next video.